So if you would just state your name, your affiliation with CAN.
My name is Al Lucas. I'm a CAN TV producer of 24 years. And I'm standing here before you guys to speak on, first of all, this is my family back here. This is the rest of my family. But I want to speak on the things that's going on here at CAN TV because it's old and new. The time has changed. We understand why. But we need more hours now. I'm trying to run edit right now. And I close at 8 o'clock, usually from 12 o'clock. So we need more hours as for producers who working late, who can't eat here early in the mornings. I want to speak on the CAN TV staff and production, cable casting, and so forth. That these are some good people that accommodate us down here, and we just want to keep things running smooth. I want to speak on my friend Jose. February 7th was a special day for me as a producer. That made me my 24th year of my production. And that same day, Jose passed. So it's like it's going to be a happy time, it's going to be a sad time for me. I just want to get permission to CAN TV staff that Jose was a very well-known person down here. As everybody knows who went to the service, they seen how much love came to that door. And they realized that we love Jose. And some of the producers, I'm just saying, but some just, well, I don't know what he said, she said. I'm just saying, a lot more could have been done for Jose as a staff member, a producer, and a special friend. And some of us come to my mind right now, I just lost our brother. But anyway, some of us come to me right now. I can't say focus, but I just want to let you guys know. We are loved down here. We want everybody to feel love to the producers down here also. We need that support. We need that communication from you guys. Everybody.
I didn't mean to go off. But no, please take another few seconds.
I just wanted to say, we just need to work together on getting these things, getting the studio back and running. I keep asking every day, when they're going to have the studio open before we come back down, start doing shows again. I'm hearing a lot of people start coming because they can't do anything like they've been doing at the old studio. I know things do change, but I just want to speak up on that we want to just keep things moving. I want to stay another 24 years. Let's get my own studio one day.
Well, thank you so much. We're glad you've been a producer for all these years.
I would have to trust you publicly I will until I see something different. My comments, if I can start my 2 minutes now, is primarily directed towards the board, because I'm hoping, now that we are in a new building, that we will see all hands on deck to make sure that CAN TV is the best television network in the city. And right now, I don't see a whole lot of advertisement pushing CAN TV, and I think we need to see it from more of the board members. Number one, we don't know who you are. If you have 19 members, we really don't know who the 19 are, but we still need all hands on deck, because since we are in this little limbo situation, because unfortunately we are seeing a lot of reruns, the majority of these producers out here are just sitting on pins and needles ready to get started producing programs, quality programs, programs that our listeners are really looking for, because they've been watching us for the past 10 years. Al has been here for 20 years, I've been here for about 7, and I know that the listeners are there, but the listeners continue to see, the viewers rather, they continue to see the reruns and nothing coming from the leadership body, and that's the board. I think we may be making some serious mistakes. So yes, I would like to see more of the board members on some of the producer shows talking about CAN TV. My greatest example, and I'm sure everybody will agree, and that is ABC. I am tired of seeing so many advertisements about The Bachelor and all the things that come on ABC. It's a continuous thing. We need the same thing here at KNTV, promoting what we are doing, promoting the producers down here, promoting the information, and promoting the diversity, because we have great diversity here, and we just need to make sure that the board is on the same level with the producers. Unfortunately, I think I remember hearing somebody say that many of the board members never met any producers from down here, and I hope that's not the case. I truly hope that's not the case, because we need all hands on deck, including the board members. Yes, I will say it should be a 7-day operation. We need to expand the embedded suites and everything else. To me, if I'm not mistaken, I do believe the studio is just 99% ready to go. And I'm anxious to get in there. I'm looking forward to that wraparound green screen. But bottom line, we need the board to be with us publicly. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Davis, thank you so much.
And what I'm here to say is that I hope the board engages with the union very directly and makes the union an ally to really push CAN-TV forward, to make it the best it can be. There is nothing else like CAN-TV in the city, and it serves a great mission. With that, there's a union here because people have a right to unionize. People have a right to voice. And what I'm going to steal here is from Catholic social teaching, because the rights of workers and the rights of people are much deeper than just what happens in the day-to-day job. You know, it's not just what coming to work and going home. It's a much deeper issue than that. The economy must serve people, not the other way around. Work is more than a way of making a living. It is a form of continuing participation in life and in the community. It is the dignity of work that we're not. If the dignity of work is to be protected, then the basic rights of workers must be respected. The right to productive work, decent and fair wages, to the organization and joining of unions must be integral in any workplace. And we see how union breaking is really taking place all across the country and the world. But it's actually much, the issues here are reflected in greater society. We are one human family. Management, board, workers, producers, we are one family. Whatever our national, racial, ethnic, or economic, or ideological differences, we are brothers and sisters. We are brothers and sisters keepers. I must remind the board and management that they must provide a good living wage for an expensive city like Chicago to its workers. Loving our neighbor has much deeper dimensions in this world. At the core of the virtual solidarity is the pursuit of justice and peace. And I believe the gospel calls us to be peacemakers, and by making peace, we work for justice. So if we want a peaceful CAN-TV, let's work for justice. Let's listen to people's concerns, and what people need to make a good, decent life in the city.
Mr. Ernest, thank you.
Labor Beat cable TV show, which has been on CAN-TV since 1986, and we participated in the cable TV hearings in 1983 at the City Council. At that time, public access, access channels, and then public access was conceived with the idea of it fundamentally, conceived in the furnaces of democratic ideas. That the disenfranchised individuals and organizations in the city didn't have a voice to express their ideas. So it's fundamentally democratic. Labor Beat has seen in the last several years a disturbing trend that management here is going in the opposite direction of a democratic climate and moving toward adopting the business model of a not-for-profit organization rather than the community democratic model. And it's particularly expressed in the attitude of resisting, in actuality, now a contract with the union, and the concentration, more and more concentration into upper management of high salaries and among the everyday workers, a very low, minimal, hardly survivable salaries. And we can also see in the rest of the city that there is a movement against this kind of thing, against the 1%, and also how a board is being conducted with the business model in Chicago public schools, where we now have a big movement now which has gained a foothold in Springfield to have an elected school board around the city. And one of the reasons is because of that business model being imposed upon public education, which should not be conceived and have a template of a business model on it. We don't want a business model here. We want to see a stop to this wrong direction, this upside down direction of CAN-TV and its management, to finalize a good contract that the union will accept, will embrace, and then let's go forward to do all these other things that need to get done. Thank you.
Good evening, Board of Directors. My name is Kevin Smith, and I'm the shop floor leader and steward-elect for NABEC CWA Local 41 here at CAN-TV. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you this evening. When I stood before you 3 months ago, I came hoping we could all work together to build a better, stronger, more dynamic CAN-TV. We came with the spirit of compromise and working together. Unfortunately, many of the employees in the bargaining unit don't feel that same spirit from management. In the past 3 months, employees have received official reprimands for minuscule time clock infractions, like clocking in 1 minute late, or even clocking in less than 10 minutes early. 2 employees have been suspended in the past 3 months, when in the past 15 years, no employee had ever been suspended for any infraction. One of these employees had her keys taken and was escorted from the building from her manager as if she were being terminated. As far as union activities go, we have definitely had our ability to assemble and investigate issues infringed upon. The reason I'm here today is to request that the retaliatory treatment stop and the lines of communication be opened between the board of directors and the employees so that all 3 of us, the board, management, and the bargaining unit can get on the same track and we can all focus on making a better CAN-TV for the producers. Yes, we have a new facility, a new building, but for many of the employees, the attitude and culture here at CAN is still very much the same, which is why we voted 17-2 to organize in the first place. We owe it to all of these producers to come together to make the best CAN-TV possible. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for hearing me. I appreciate it. This is one of my first meetings I've attended. I'm the trainer here, the de facto lead trainer here, because I'm the only trainer here, and I've been here more than 15 years. So that makes me really the leader of myself, I guess. Anyway, the first thing I want to do, first of all, is clear the air towards how I feel about things with the management. I feel I'm extremely grateful that we've been able to work together recently. I think it's been extremely productive. I really appreciate the respect that you've shown my ideas and my input. And my only hope is that you extend that to my coworkers as well at some point. It would be nice because I think they have a lot to offer. They have a lot of experience and knowledge that is untapped. And I think that their ideas are definitely worth hearing. I would also like to give you an idea of my department. The training department is understaffed in my opinion. I think you are probably aware that the management is planning on hiring a new training manager, and it's been said that that person would be very hands-on. And I interpret that to mean that they would also be training and conducting workshops and practice sessions and classes. And that, to me, that is not the best way to handle the situation. It's a stopgap for an untenable situation, and it really should be a position, the training of people should be a position that is someone is dedicated to, someone who is completely focused on that. I feel that it shouldn't be parsed out and just filled in by a manager who, while they're teaching, is not managing. And so that's just my public feelings about that. Also, in past years, I took a look. In the past 5 years, we've averaged at least 4 full-time trainers at any given time. And there was a high mark of 7 trainers just about 3 or 4 years ago. So even then, it was difficult to run the department. People have busy schedules and lives, and you have to cover for each other when you go on vacation, that sort of thing. So even then, it was, you know, manageable, but imagine doing that with just 1 trainer and a manager who sometimes fills in the class, especially now that the facility is about to be reopened to the public. And, you know, the large studio is almost complete, so there's been a lot of interest in that studio. We get calls every day, we compile long lists of people. So imagine once that's open, how difficult that's going to be for my department. So I just want to, I'm really concerned about that. I want to make sure that the priorities are put correctly. And on that note, we actually do have another person working here, Renee Jackson, who is a trainer who has taught classes just recently in the last quarter at the old facility, and for various reasons I won't go into, she is not being allowed to train, and so I feel a high degree of respect for her. I saw her in action. I don't say that lightly. I don't often like a lot of my co-trainers, but I think she has really excellent skills. I would like to advocate for hiring her as a full-time trainer.
Mr. Press, if you could wrap.
Okay, my last thing I want to say is that, yeah, I mean, basically, I have not worked here all this time for more than 15 years because of the pay. I've worked here because of the producers. The producers have inspired me. It's really the only reason I've stuck around is because of you guys, you know, because it's part of my mission, part of CAN TV's mission to serve these people. So thank you very much for your time.
All right, I guess that makes you the closer. Greetings, board members, co-workers, producers, allies, and friends. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Janelle White. I have been a part-time, 20-plus hourly employee here at CAN TV for 14 and a half years. I was nominated and elected to the contract negotiating team. I welcome the opportunity to have a seat at the table to advocate and shed light on the ongoing unfair treatment myself and other CAN TV workers are subjected to. Since I began working at CAN TV in 2001, I completed a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. I went on to teach at the collegiate level for 8 years. However, none of these accomplishments have been acknowledged by CAN TV management, and they certainly aren't reflected in my pay. Myself and several of the 18 bargaining unit members, some of which you heard from earlier tonight and are still here, some of us are declared as living in poverty by the state of Illinois. Like, legally declared as living in poverty by the state of Illinois. We are not adequately compensated for the work that we do. We make a small fraction of what other industry professionals make in comparable positions. And on the contrary, CAN TV management collectively pays themselves hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, significantly more than managers in similar industry positions. The 5 highest CAN TV manager salaries are public record. They total nearly $600,000. This pay inequality is the very definition of corporate greed. CAN TV receives millions annually from a percentage of cable companies' revenues and grants, etc. So there's no excuse for underpaying staff, reducing scheduled hours, as in the case of Renee and Jonah, who's moved on, or threats of layoffs. I mean, you're funded, so that should cover the cost of operating expenses, and the last time I checked, payroll is an operating expense. There should be pay equality and opportunities for all workers for advancement and career longevity right here. Many of the workers at CAN TV do not feel valued or respected. The culture of CAN-TV must change, and you, the board of directors, now have an opportunity to be the agents of that much-needed change. We humbly ask that you consider the needs and concerns of the workers at CAN-TV. As the unit who supervises the managers at CAN-TV, your involvement is needed for the improvement to take place. And on that note, thank you for your time, your willingness to hear our concerns tonight. We welcome the opportunity to continue the conversation.
And some of the salary information, so I can't comment on any of that. I just hope that the board is fair with the union, but also the board should also make sure that you don't give away the farm. Not all workers here are great workers. I mean, if they never got written up before, maybe it's time for them to get written up. You have a few employees in here that are great people. Leslie, Kevin, you have great people. Terrence, great people. But some of the other people, give me a break. So they have to be dealt with. And if you have to do what you have to do, do it. Because some of the people didn't help the producers. Maybe the producers don't want to say it, but they didn't help you. They made it hard for you. And they have to be dealt with. You have to have rules on both ways. The other comments, I don't have the information to comment on that, but if you're going to make a contract, make sure it's fair for the company and for the union. But don't give away the farm. You know, I was a union steward. I'm currently not a union steward, but I represented insurance agents and I represented the police. And sometimes you're wrong. If you're wrong, you should be dealt with. Don't be wrong. You want to be dealt with. That's the way I see it. Thank you very much.
Mr. Matthews, thank you. Next, Mr. Oscar Alcala.
Yeah. My name is Oscar Alcala. I'm a CAN-TV producer, and I'm here for 2 words: support and respect. I felt we didn't get enough respect or support when we were at the other place, and I hope that in this new place we can get that. Because sometimes with this Pavlovich needs support, she sent us letters to the houses. I need your support for this or that, for this vote. But when we need our support, or I needed their support one time that I had a problem, they didn't talk to me. They just say, you know, go. You know, they didn't pay attention to me. So are we on the same page or are we not, you know? I felt like if I'm a producer and they're making money out of whatever that, you know, is being produced, why can't we be on the same page? I feel that that's the reason we're producing, because we want to help Ms. Pavlovich and be in CAN-TV. She is the boss, big boss. And I also feel that if somebody has a problem, they need to solve it right there and then, not to wait until whenever they want. If they got some other people to take care of those problems. And one of the things is that Channel 2, 5, and 7, they got the tax on you know, they represent whoever they're working for. We don't. I mean, I asked a couple of times, I even got a little bit like insulted because I said, well, I made a business card with the CAN-TV. He said, oh no, you can't use that because you might be using it for other reasons, for this or that. I mean, I feel insulted. If I'm being a producer for CAN-TV, I mean, I'm doing things for CAN-TV, not for somebody else. And then I'm not going to say that maybe some other people that might be doing things outside CAN-TV. But I mean, if 2, 5, and 7 and all the channels, they have their logo there and represent with pride who they're working for, why can't we? You know what I'm saying? And I think if Ms. Pavlovich needs our support, we need your support too, Ms. Pavlovich. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, thank you so much. Mr. George Owens.
I guess a lot has been said so far. Just seems like you guys have a lot on your plate. First of all, I'm proud to be here. I've been at KNTV since 1988. Worked at FedEx, graduated from Columbia College. It concerns me a little bit to hear what's going on with management and what's going on with employees, because I can understand from working at FedEx, you know, how having the strong employees and management can also lead to how it affects the producers and other people that you need in the field. Okay, so that's one thing. I would hope and pray that you guys as board members look at the issues that has been brought up by some of the employees as well as management staff, because I believe you have some good employees that's putting in time. They did a lot of work in education and doing what they're doing for the wages that you guys are paying them. So I feel that they're doing a community service by helping us, because me graduated from Columbia, I can understand that dilemma because I've been educated at Columbia, NBC and stuff like that, and I always want to work at CAN, but under some of the conditions they're saying they're going through, that kind of would belittle their education and the skills that they have. So I wish that you just listen to some of those that have put in the hard work and to have the resumes to be able to sit here and deal with us, because of management, and you're not listening to management, management's not listening to them. That makes for a bad environment for us as producers, and when we're producers trying to go out and solicit other people to come and be involved with CAN TV. Over at the other station, that was great. I've enjoyed all the time that I was here at CAN TV. I enjoyed every moment. I bring my kids, I bring other people in the facility that I'm around to CAN TV, and I'm always promoting CAN TV as a community type environment to be in. So one thing, I wish that there were more board members here, because just barely making a quorum, I think that you guys need to take what they're saying and some of the producers more seriously. I feel that, because if you can't deal with that, it's hard to talk about the facility and how to use the space more productively, and you know, all types of things, from knocking walls down to not listening to the concerns of the employees and the producers when we have to go in and produce programs to be uncomfortable or whatever. So since this is a new facility, I hope that this is a new age, that we can all grow together as opposed to you against them, and all that other crazy stuff, because then we all look like we're disgruntled when people come in to visit. Okay, so I hope that you guys are kind of listening to some of those things as a board and as other people. Because when I come today, I see and feel their anger and the desires that they do, and kind of, you know, that's one reason why I'm here, because I'm kind of concerned about things. Other than that, it's like I'm having a great time, do what I got to do, I'm getting out. But at some point, we wish that you would just listen to that. Then I want you to talk about the facility. I feel that it's taken a long time.
Mr. Owens,
You've been
10 more seconds. Okay, 10 more seconds.
It's going to be quick. I just wish that you guys would just take more seriously on them and do production in the facility around here, so that the CAN TV producers can get back to work and try to promote you guys within that facility. It took long to do your control room, and one of them took the building.
Mr. Owens, thank you. Ms. Zelda Robinson.
Hello, everybody. Shalom to Israel, aka Zelda Robinson, for those who know me from broadcasting. I hate to say it, but this sounds like a lot of corporate bullshit, excuse my French. And I say that because I was retired from WGCI because I helped fight the union and the things that were going on. The morale here is horrible. Management, the board of directors need to get together and work with not only the producers, but staff as well, because when staff is not feeling good, or they're not feeling good about their jobs, they're not feeling good about this atmosphere that they work on, we suffer for that. And that needs to be addressed. And I just ask you to be fair, not only in your warnings, but in your actions as well, because you may not be affected here, but you will be affected elsewhere in this world, because karma is, you know what. Secondly, the weekend hours. There are no weekend hours. And I'm sure with budget cuts, that's why there are no weekend hours. But not everybody is able to be here during the week. And I think that weekend hours, at least Saturday, should be reinstated. I also believe that, like Elma said about Jose Salazar, I think there should be a producer's wall. Is there one? I know I've seen plaques and things of that nature. But there should be a wall. Yeah, with awards from KNTV, but I think there should be a producer's a wall because Jose Salazar was one of those people who was known by everybody, worked on pretty much everybody's show, and just because they're no longer here, I think they need to be remembered. So, in saying that, I think I've said all I need to say, but just please be kind to the people who you govern because karma is watching. Thank you very much.
Well, I must say that it is very interesting. I'm glad that I did come to this meeting as a CAM TV producer myself. I'm a baby to all of you professionals, believe me, but I have learned a lot because I was basically intimidated by just learning all this new age stuff, you know, and computers and all that stuff, and Facebook and Twitter. I know I'm really going there. But it is disappointing to see, and to ditto with what Ms. Robinson said, also what Ms. Elman said, and so many of you have said, when staff is unhappy and people are doing a revolving door kind of thing, it doesn't make it good. And believe me, it's being taken out on us because people's tempers are short, their time is short. My goodness, Eric is such a good teacher. I'm scared to make an appointment because he's so busy with people that really need him and new people that are coming in. And he's very patient with trying to teach us things too. Renee Jackson, with her situation, I think you would be remiss to get rid of or intimidate somebody like her. She has taken so much time out with the producers and being a new staff member, so to speak, even though she started at the old facility. So I would definitely like to see her stay on and have more hours because right now you're working the people that have been here for a long time with more hours than they get tired. And so when they're tired and they're uptight, then we hear about it too. So keeping the facility running good and smooth and keeping the computers activated and running good is all great. I do believe that we need a larger editing suite. Right now, it feels like we're crammed up in there and it's gonna get busier. As more people, as you bring in more new people in to learn how to edit, a lot of people have decided, well, maybe we shouldn't edit here anymore. CAN-TV doesn't want us to edit here anymore, so I'm gonna go and learn and get my own laptop and edit at home. Some people prefer to edit at home. Some people like the community environment of coming down here and fellowshipping and editing and having all of their problems together and solving problems together. So I hope that you all recognize that. My other concern is that I remember when I first came here.
I'm cutting you short.
Okay.
You've gone a few seconds already. Maybe 2 more.
2 more minutes.
Okay, no seconds.
Being in radio, you just talk about it. You just keep on going. The other concern was that when I first came here in 2002, there were producers that were on the board. And I'm a little concerned that there's no representation of producers on the board. So I would like to, I don't know what the process is. I remember you nominated people and you voted. So I would like to see a little bit more activity that way. And probably more employees too on board here and production and so forth. Thank you very much. And congratulations on the new facility overall. We love it, the parking. Thank you.
Started a Google Plus community called CAN-TV Producers, and I sent out an email. I just hope you would all join because it would be a place where we could all dialogue amongst ourselves about things such as cooling with each other and bringing matters of concern, common concern to the board and city management. I would like to say that I'm thrilled that the union came in, because I was born in Chicago. I'm a union person. In my blood. And it was kind of unnerving, you know, like over the past couple years, that there was a lot of tension, you know, between management and employees, and that didn't really make for a good working environment. And I'm glad that the unions come in, and maybe all will work something out and will be smoother. Because I'm looking forward to working here for quite a while. I'd like to get to the point where I have a series. I've only had one production for 4 years. Don't judge me by my slow start out of the age, because I have some things to do. Okay. Nice meeting you.
Thank you.
My name is Alan Boss. I've been a producer here since probably about 2005. I guess the biggest concern that I would like to voice is the studio itself. With the concept of us moving from the old facility over to the new facility, we were hoping to have a different mindset, a different spirit, a different whole scenario about what was going on in the direction of CAN-TV. To come here today, now here we have, I guess, kind of a misagreement or misunderstanding between management and things such as this right here. I would just hope that everyone could collectively come together and make the facility all it could be, help the producers, help the board, help the staff, and if everybody was to contribute and come in with a good attitude, willing attitude of working together and accomplishing a common goal, I think we could get there. That's what I'm trying to
say. I feel like I've been a victim of management's attempt to maintain a certain amount of control that is unnecessary here. It feels like if they're in control of everything, then they would rather that you would go. So my hours have been reduced to 9.5 hours, and mine aren't even the lowest. So it's 9.5 hours a week, which is impossible to live on. Actually, someone's just resigned because they got a job at a new place, which is, I'm sure, the point of that, because his hours were pretty much the same as mine. So you can't live on that, and you can't be expected to live on that. But now there's one less person in the union. So I personally have brought a discrimination case against the management at CAN-TV, and it hasn't been investigated yet, so I'm trying to get that investigated, and that's public knowledge if anybody wanted to know it. But since I've filed that discrimination case, we've also received a new handbook. Now, a new handbook in the middle of negotiating a contract is, I won't even say the word that I'm thinking, but not only that, the new handbook also trounces on our civil liberties. I mean, there are things in this handbook that police can't do to you on the street or even in this building. And then at the end of all of these new policies, it says, at management's discretion, which means we can single you out if we want to. Fall in line or be singled out, okay? I have issues with almost everything that's in this new handbook. And so I don't know if the board has seen it. I don't know if you guys had to pass it, but I actually have a copy if you would like. So this is the new handbook. It can't leave the building for confidentiality reasons, so you have to return it to me. And now I'm on a 4.5-hour shift, and I only get 30 minutes for lunch, for dinner, so I'm going to go eat, and thank you for your time.
Ms. Jackson, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We do have a copy of that, so please
okay.
Take that.
Nonprofit deserve the credit for any technical prowess we get. But we have been with CAN-TV for about a decade now, and I was frankly shocked when I heard some of the things about what's going on with the people that I work closely with and other people in the building. I was shocked because what I was hearing sounded very reminiscent of what goes on about 20 blocks east of here at UPS. Anyone that knows about management at UPS and how they treat their union workers, they bark at their employees. They write them up for 1 minute late and nonsense, literally kindergarten stuff like that. And that may work in that kind of production environment. I'm not convinced it does, but it may. But in a creative environment, that's just poison. That's just poison. I mean, you're asking people to not only think creatively and really give of their souls in terms of what they do in making our product, our rough product, so much better through their work, but you're asking them to do it at wages you cannot live on in Chicago. I was shocked when I heard what a few of the people who work here make, and I thought, boy, if their spouses are making the same amount, oh, forget it about having kids, and forget about having any kind of decent standard of living. And many of them are college agreed and the rest of it. It was just shocking. And so clearly there has to be something done in terms of certainly the lowest people's wages, certainly the hours. I mean, this is a city that we're fighting for a $15 an hour minimum wage, and I'm sure they don't make that, not by any stretch of the imagination. And so that's just got to change. I mean, people would not be going through the difficulty it takes in this day and age to form a union unless they saw things were really, really in trouble. And the board has got to recognize that. When I heard that the union was being formed, I was approached by both union people as well as management. And management was saying to me, what can we do to make this better? I said, treat the union fairly. Don't do all the sort of nasty, dirty tricks that we hear about in union organizing drives right around the country that are so common these days. And unfortunately, that's precisely what's going on. That has got to stop. It's just poison for this facility. It could destroy this facility. Okay? And so the board has got to take responsibility, has got to talk to management and say, cut it out. These people are making next to nothing already. They need to be treated with dignity and respect. And that will benefit all of us here, whether we're producers or whatever.